Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I want to ask you, why hasn't Russia, specifically Vladimir Putin, why hasn't he come out and strictly and in a straight way condemned how the crime scene was handled, how the dignity of the dead was abused, how crime scene investigators weren't let in? Why hasn't Russia, why hasn't Vladimir Putin come forward and condemned how this crime scene has been handled?
Well, I think that the answer to that is very, very straightforward and simple. Ukraine is not in Russia. Vladimir Putin doesn't control a crime scene in a foreign country. I think it's quite ludicrous for you to ask that question. He's come out and demanded a complete investigation. As a matter of fact, on Monday of this week, Russia gave its assessment of the reconnaissance and surveillance of satellites and what was happening in the crime scene. We don't have that coming out of Washington. So I think that's what you should be asking, is that why is the State Department relying upon Twitter and YouTube and other social media for its case when Russia has already given its, or at least part of, the forensic evidence that is necessary to solve this horrific crime?
Maybe you haven't been following it, but the U.S. is actually coming out with a lot of its own intelligence that connects what happened to MH17 to the acts of Russian militants and perhaps to the involvement of Russia in either training, equipping, or maybe even assisting in this horrible operation of bringing down this plane.
What forensic evidence are you talking about? What forensic evidence are you referring to? Twitter?
They are releasing intelligence information about the trajectory. No, not Twitter. I do not think, Peter, this is something to be flip about. 298 people lost their lives. Let's not play politics.
I think the U.S. State Department has been very flippant about this. Very flippant about it. Where's the evidence?
Listen,
that's what we need to solve this crime. It's not coming out of Washington. Even intelligence officials are saying they don't know who did this. They don't know where it came from. The United States spends $100 billion a year on global intelligence, and they can't find out. This is extraordinary. There are NATO ships in the Black Sea watching Ukraine like a hawk. Where is their data? Please show us the data. Then we can move forward, and maybe this can help resolve the crisis in Ukraine.
All right, Peter. Take a breath, okay, because this isn't a debate. It's easy to bandy about points and confuse facts. There's no need for that, because I'm not here to debate with you who did this, okay?
I really wish you would stick with facts.
You want to play those talking points. I asked you a simple question. Peter, everything I'm saying to you, there's U.S. intelligence. Peter, why are you afraid to hear what I'm saying? I'm not here to fight with you, okay?
I'm not afraid.
I just left the crime scene. The last thing I want to see is more violence of any kind, verbal or otherwise.
All of its data from satellites and compare it to the Russian case. They are doing exactly that. See where they match, where they don't match. No, they're not. I don't know what... You're living in a parallel universe.
Peter, calm down. Take a breath. We've already had something bad happen. There's no reason to compound it. I don't represent the U.S. government. You are speaking...
Ask me an intelligent question.
Here, well, I think I've asked you several. Your answers, I don't know about the intelligence of, but the questions are pretty spot on. Let me ask you again, because I'm not a representative of the U.S. You seem to be acting like a representative of Russia. And what I ask you is, why hasn't Russia come forward and... the indignity and disgrace of this crime scene?
In what, 5 minutes?
France has done it.
That's what you did.
France has done it. The UK has done it. The US has done it. None of them have sovereign control over Ukraine. Countless countries have come forward. The UN has come forward and condemned what was done at this crime scene, but not Russia specifically,
not Vladimir Putin has come out for a thorough investigation. Yes, you're wrong. You're just simply factually wrong.
He did not condemn what's been done.
He has come out and said there should be an investigation.
Why hasn't he condemned what was done?
By asking there be an investigation is condemning it. The suggestion is... I wish you could be a serious person about this.
By saying that leaving bodies in the sun, by saying leaving bodies in the sun for days, by saying scaring away monitors who want to come in to look, that counts.
Ludicrous. That's ludicrous. I'm looking at known facts. Where is the investigation? The U.S. government and its allies condemned Russia even before the bodies were taken off the ground. What kind of logic is that? What kind of sympathy is that? That's ridiculous what you're saying.
Peter, this is the logic. Peter, look, this is frightening what you're saying. And again, I'm not here to argue with you. I just came from the actual crime scene.
No, you sound
I know
like
what's going on there. I know what's not going on.
At the U.S. State Department.
I know what I sound like is a reporter who feels deeply for the 298 lives who were lost, who were not part of this conflict, and don't need to be part of your discussion about whether Russia is being unfairly blamed. The reason Russia was brought in right away is because if you go to talk to the self-appointed prime minister of the area where this plane was shot down, he is surrounded by Russian military figures, admittedly so, they will tell you that. And if you ask this man whether Russia is helping him, you know what he'll say? Nothing. He refuses to answer. Why would a man who is desperate for legitimacy and being seen in control of his area, a self-appointed prime minister, refuse to deny that is helping him? Why, Peter? That sounds like a straight question.
I don't know.
That sounds like something you can answer with fact. You need to remind yourself what the job is, my friend. I asked you why Russia hasn't come out and condemned what is objectively wrong. Nobody will take another position. The way that crime scene is unsecured, the way soldiers have gone through and compromised the integrity of it, the way they've disrespected the dead.
Russia has already done an investigation. It has made it public. It has shown the world. Now, why doesn't the United States step up and compare evidence, okay? That Russia's done the right thing to do to solve this crime. And U.S. intelligence has no idea what it's talking about, or it knows what happens, and it doesn't want the world to know what really happened. It's in Washington's court, right?
You are obsessed with clearing Russia from culpability. That's okay. I am focused on talking about
your opinion.
how
That's not a fact.
This plane and its victims were treated.
I agree with you.
I think you need to look up what that word means. All you're doing is denying Russia's involvement.
What happened? I didn't say that. I don't know.
Of course,
I don't have the
we all
evidence
want
that
to.
it was or was not.
I agree. I don't think you have a shred of evidence. I don't think you know anything about it. I'm not jumping to any. Have you heard me say that I know what happened?
And it was put on live. It was translated into English.
Have you heard me say that I know what happened?
Side, with their investigation, they did not even claim. Their investigations thus to date did not even say it was Ukraine's fault. They didn't even do that. They asked questions about why certain things were happening in that airspace. That's a good question. It should be compared. What do the other radars have to say? Let's see if we can see the difference or the similarities. Be fair.
Peter, of course we want to be fair. Everybody wants the right answer, because one thing's for sure, I think you'll probably even agree with this. The people who were killed on MH17 had no role in this conflict. They were complete innocents. There was no reason for them to be involved, whether it was a tragic mistake that the plane was shot out of the air or it was an intentional act of terrorism. It was wrong, and we need to find out who did it. You know there's a reasonable basis for suspicion about what Russia knew, because there are undeniable connections between the Russian militants in this area and Russia itself in terms of assistance and guidance and the personnel on the ground. So of course there's a reasonable basis for suspicion. All I asked you was why Russia,
how much control the Russian side has over resistance in Ukraine. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to determine that. If you look at the evidence, okay, it's difficult.
Yeah, especially,
one of the things with people like you deny
when the acting prime minister,
you deny the agency of people in eastern Ukraine. You deny them agency. You just think they're puppets of Russia. That's simply not true.
I deny them. I sat with the self-appointed prime minister. I sat with him. I gave him the CNN audience. I asked him, there is a suspicion that Russia is helping you and your fighters by training you and giving you weapons, maybe the one that was used to shoot down the plane. Is that true? And you know what he says? I'm not going to answer that. Ask Russia. I say, but you're the prime minister. You say you're in charge. Are they helping you, or are you in charge? He says, I won't answer that. That doesn't bother you as a journalist, Peter?
It doesn't
not
make
suspicious
Russia culpable whatsoever. What are the evidence? Evidence is what we need. And you're trying to put the blame on...
So you're just going to ignore what I just said?
Russia is not Ukraine.
You're just going to ignore that? You choose to ignore that?
I'm not going to comment on what that person said.
People.
No.
A man
what do you want me to say? To agree or disagree with him? Why should I? Why should I agree or disagree?
I don't know. Why should you carry water for Russia when you're supposed to be a journalist? Why do you say the U.S. doesn't have any intelligence when it's put it out there, tracking the missile?
I have
Why do you say there's no
platform
facts
at RT Television where I have my own program and I have my own mandate to do what I want to do. So I don't know what you're carrying water. You carry water for the U.S. State Department.
And Peter Lavelle, your obvious appetite and desire for what to do is to represent the best interests of Russia, no matter what the facts are, and to shout down people who are asking legitimate questions. And I think it's a mistake in fairness to the victims, and it's a mistake as a journalist.
Nonsense and stupidity.
Well, it sounds true. We'll let the audience decide.
Loaded questions. That's what I do. That's what I do all the time. That's what I do for a living.
They're straight questions. Peter Lavelle, you have to live with what you do for a living. I appreciate you coming on New Day so people can experience your answers and thought process for themselves. Have a good day.